2013 was a very interesting and sometimes catastrophic year in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The year kicked off with a deluge that dumped around 9 inches of rain in the park over a 4-day period. This rain event created widespread flooding and washed out Newfound Gap Road, closing the main route between Gatlinburg and Cherokee for 3 long months. The rainy conditions never subsided during January, and the wood frogs took advantage of this warm, wet weather and began their mating season a bit earlier than normal. This led some to mistakenly believe that spring would be early. On January 30th, another deluge pounded the Smokies with 5 inches of rain in 24 hours. This storm made January the wettest on record, with a little over 17 inches of accumulated rain recorded on Mount LeConte. It was also one of the warmest on record. As February began, a sharp drop in temperatures ushered in snow and ice storms. Finally, winter conditions had arrived. Temperatures would fall below normal for the month, and March would come roaring in like a lion as major snowstorms blanketed the mountains. What started out as a warm and wet winter suddenly turned into a cold and lingering one. On the first day of spring, many of the common spring ephemerals were popping out at the lower elevations. But another few snowstorms at the end of March and into early April would slow things down. And many of the spring wildflowers appeared later this year than they had in recent memory. The winter's abundant moisture spurred a spectacular spring bloom during the latter part of April into early May. This cooler than average weather would linger for many months. As Memorial Day arrived, the mountain laurel provided a spectacular super bloom, as many heath balds throughout the Smokies lit up with pink and white flowers that engulfed the mid-elevations of the park. These stunning displays lasted into early June to the delight of many park visitors. Some considered it one of the best mountain laurel blooms in recent years. In June, another bout of heavy rain spun off an EF1 tornado around Cosby, taking down hundreds of trees along the trails in the area. While most of the country roasted during the latter part of spring and into early summer, the southeast was experiencing cooler than average temperatures, with abundant rainfall and cloud cover. In fact, the highest elevations of the park received around 70 inches of rain, making the first part of the year one of the wettest on record. There were not many days that guests at LeConte Lodge or hikers along the Appalachian Trail saw sunshine. These moist, damp periods created optimal conditions for mushrooms and other fungi, and the understory of the forest turned into a mycologist's delight. By August, the visitors and wildlife finally got a reprieve from the rainy, wet weather. The resident black bears and many of the white-tailed deer found abundant food in Cades Cove. The endangered Fraser fir trees had a banner year for cone production, and the American mountain ash, which only produces seeds every few years, produced a bounty of bright red berries. The summer of 2013 turned into one of the coolest on record, with many cloudy days and few days above 80 degrees. The final days of summer were also mostly cool and dry, which played a part in the upcoming fall color. As we rolled towards the peak of fall color, park visitors were in for a most unwelcome shock.
Now we get to experience at the same time just the government, frankly, at its worst. A political process that is hurting many people, not just government employees, but many people.
For 15 days, the Great Smoky Mountains and other national parks around the country were officially shut down. Since Congress did not authorize funding, the Park Service had no funds to operate for the time period, temporarily furloughing park staff and running very limited operations. While Newfound Gap Road remained open during this period, the park trails and campgrounds closed to the despair of many visitors. This also greatly affected the Great Smoky Mountains Association, as all Park Visitor Center stores were shut down during this period, causing our nonprofit organization to miss $500,000 in potential revenue. On October 16th, the states of North Carolina and Tennessee, in conjunction with the Sevier and Blount counties, provided funds to reopen the park.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, October the 16th in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Isn't there a song entitled, "Oh Happy Day"? I'm sure there is, and today certainly is a happy day for a lot of people to see Great Smoky Mountains National Park fully open. Look behind me, you see all these cars and happy people going into the Sugarlands Visitor Center. Even if it's a cloudy day, who cares? It's a great day to be in the Smokies.
The federal government would end the shutdown a day later when all sides finally agreed to a temporary budget extension. While the shutdown hit during the height of the busy season in October, the dry and normal conditions delayed the peak fall until the final days of the month. The Cove hardwood forest, especially along the Tennessee side, were graced with one of the most beautiful displays seen in recent years. Many species of trees peaked in color simultaneously along Little River Road and Cades Cove. This was a quick event that only lasted a few days. On Halloween, a cold front with high winds closed out the month and knocked down many of the leaves. As another winter approaches, we can happily anticipate the continuing march of seasons that bring us such awesome beauty in one of the most biologically diverse and best protected ecosystems in the world.